Welcome to Car Auto, ladies and gentlemen. The Phantom in the desert sky, visualizing the Iranian F-4 fighter jet. The roar of twin afterburners slices through the quiet air above the arid Iranian plateau. A majestic, weather-worn aircraft cuts through the sky, its silhouette unmistakable, the long nose, swept-back wings, and dual-engine tail revealing the legendary F-4 Phantom II. Once a symbol of American air dominance, the Phantom has since found new purpose and symbolism in the Iranian Air Force. And today, through the lens of digital artistry and visual storytelling, this historic jet takes on renewed life in dramatic, stylized scenes that blend realism with creative imagination. Capturing history in a single frame. In an age where imagery shapes perception, visualizing military aircraft like the Iranian F-4 Phantom II requires a balance between historical accuracy and cinematic flair. The following prompt invites digital artists, 3D modelers, and aviation enthusiasts to recreate one of the most iconic warplanes of the 20th century, now in the hands of a nation that has kept it airborne against all odds. Wrench Core Image Prompt. F-4 Phantom II in Iranian colors. A realistic, high-resolution image of an Iranian Air Force F-4 Phantom II fighter jet in flight over a desert landscape. The aircraft is painted in a faded desert camouflage scheme, with Iranian Air Force roundels and serial markings visible. The twin afterburners glow faintly as the jet flies at low altitude, casting a sharp shadow on the sandy terrain below. The scene features a dramatic sky with scattered clouds and a golden hour sunset, highlighting the aircraft's iconic profile. Include motion blur on the background to emphasize speed. This prompt is designed to evoke the Phantom's enduring legacy while placing it within a distinctly Iranian visual context. Every element, from the desert backdrop to the faded camouflage, tells a story of resilience and adaptation. Breaking down the visual elements. 1. The aircraft itself. A flying legend. The F-4 Phantom II is a two-seat, twin-engine, long-range supersonic jet interceptor and fighter-bomber originally developed by McDonnell Aircraft. Delivered to Iran in the 1970s under the US-backed Shah regime, the F-4 became a core component of Iran's air fleet. Despite the 1979 revolution and ensuing arms embargo, Iran has maintained these aircraft through extensive reverse engineering, local production of parts, and daring acquisition of spare parts on the black market. In the prompt, the jet appears mid-flight, emphasizing its aerodynamic form. The faded desert camouflage nods to decades of service under the harsh sun, its wear and tear implying experience, endurance, and battle hardiness. The Iranian Air Force roundels and serial numbers reinforce authenticity, connecting the aircraft not just to its technical specs, but to its geopolitical identity. 2. The desert landscape. Iran's natural theater. Iran's geography, from its vast central deserts to its mountainous borders, is integral to how it deploys and maintains airpower. The desert setting in the image captures this environment, both visually dramatic and tactically significant. It acts as a canvas, hot, dusty, empty, against which the Phantom's presence feels even more powerful and isolated. The shadow cast beneath the aircraft adds a layer of realism and visual depth. It anchors the jet to the world below, reminding the viewer that this machine is not just flying for show, it's a working component of Iran's defense doctrine. 3. Sunset and sky. Mood and emotion. Golden hour lighting adds a poetic dimension to the scene. The warm hues of sunset bathe the aircraft in amber and crimson, playing off the metallic textures and worn paint. The scattered clouds offer contrast and a sense of scale, suggesting altitude, vastness, and dynamism. In visual storytelling, the sky serves not only as background but as a metaphor. Here, it symbolizes tension and transition, perhaps between peace and conflict, between past and present, or even between east and west. 4. Motion blur. The illusion of speed. To capture the Phantom in its element, the image must feel alive with movement. Motion blur on the background simulates speed, lending kinetic energy and urgency to the frame. It suggests a jet flying fast and low, possibly on a reconnaissance or strike mission, further emphasizing the Phantom's dual role as both hunter and ghost. Framed picture optional variations, expanding the narrative. To truly explore the visual potential of the Iranian F-4 Phantom II, the base image prompt can be extended into various thematic scenes. These are not mere aesthetic choices, they open doors to storytelling, emotion, and deeper artistic exploration. Crossed Swords Combat Scene. Iranian F-4 Phantom II launching air-to-surface missiles during a simulated strike mission, with smoke trails and explosions in the background. This variation places the Phantom in action, portraying it as a tool of warfare rather than just a historical relic. The inclusion of missile exhaust trails, ground explosions, and motion adds intensity and immediacy. The backdrop might be a mock enemy convoy, a radar station, or oilfield infrastructure, targets familiar to the regional conflict narrative. Smoke, flame, and sound, if translated into animation, become characters in their own right. The aircraft's form remains central, but it's now part of a larger, explosive choreography. Airplane arrival airbase setting. An Iranian F-4 Phantom II parked on a sunlit runway at a military airbase, surrounded by ground crew, service trucks, and mountainous terrain in the background. Not all power is kinetic. Sometimes, the quiet moments of preparation offer the most insight. This grounded scene emphasizes maintenance, readiness, and support. It brings attention to the people behind the machine, the Iranian technicians, pilots, and logistics crews who keep these Cold War-era jets flying in the 21st century. Mountains in the background hint at Iran's diverse geography and possible strategic deployment zones. The interplay of shadow, heat distortion, and detailed textures, oily tarmac, weathered ladders, toolboxes, make the scene rich with ambient storytelling. Camera with flash retro look. A vintage-style photo of an Iranian F-4 Phantom II from the 1980s Iran-Iraq War era, with film grain and weathered effects. This variation is steeped in nostalgia and historical weight. The film grain, muted color palette, and possible sepia tones evoke photographs from the frontline archives. This version could also include Iranian or Iraqi desert fortifications in the background, perhaps with sandbags, radar installations, or aged bunkers. Such images remind viewers that these aircraft were not just instruments of power. They were survivors of one of the longest conventional wars of the 20th century. Why the F-4 Phantom still captures the imagination. The F-4 Phantom II is more than just a relic of the Cold War. In Iranian hands, it has become a symbol of persistence, ingenuity, and national defense autonomy. While many nations have retired their Phantom fleets, Iran continues to fly and even modernize its F-4s, integrating new radar systems, missile types, and avionics. From an artistic point of view, the Phantom's unique shape, dual exhausts, and Vietnam-era ruggedness make it visually compelling. Its massive engine intakes, underwing stores, and variable payload options give creators plenty to work with, whether they aim for hyper-realism or stylized drama. Final thoughts. Painting with history. Each image derived from this prompt is more than just an aircraft rendering. It's a frozen moment in a larger geopolitical and technological narrative. Whether seen streaking across the desert sky or parked stoically on a runway, the Iranian F-4 Phantom II speaks to decades of survival, innovation, and power. For artists and storytellers, it's a canvas rich with texture, metaphor, and motion. For military enthusiasts, it is a chapter still being written, one sortie, one image, one story at a time. Please subscribe to my channel Car Auto.